Hello, welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn about abstract classes. Abstract classes are those where one or more methods are not defined yet. Let's go ahead and create one and see how it looks. Let's go ahead and right click, create a new class. So you would do the same way. There is no other option like abstract class. You would just create a new class. Let's call it shape, right? We're going to create a class that is just a basic class for any shape like circle, square, um, any type of shape, right? But this is just going to be a generic type or abstract type shape. And in here, we may want to say the shape has string um, fill color, because each shape can have a fill color, right? And then you can also have public string border color. We can also go ahead and create our getters and setters. So do the source, generate getters and setters, select all, select both of them, and then hit OK. So there you go, you got the getters and setters as well. Now, let's say we want to add another method called public double calculate area, right? So I'm going to create a method that basically will calculate the area of the shape and it will return it in a double, right? But I put a semicolon here and not the curly braces that would define the body of the method. And that's because at this point we're talking about some arbitrary shape, right? We don't know what shape it is. It could be a circle, rectangle. We don't have a way to calculate the area for a shape itself because we don't know what shape that is. So we cannot really define anything. If we have to put a semicolon here, we have to make this method abstract. When you make something abstract, you don't have to give the body, right? That's what abstract methods are. But we still have an error, and the error says the abstract method calculate area in type shape can only be defined by an abstract class. There is an error here as well. Let's see what that says. It says the type shape must be an abstract class to define abstract methods. So it is what it says right here. If you make any method abstract within a class, you have to make the class as well abstract. Because think about it, this is a class that has a method calculate area, but does not really say how to calculate the area, right? Which means the class itself is not a fully defined class. A fully defined class would be a concrete class. A concrete class is where everything is defined fully, right? But the shape class has a method that is not fully defined, which would make this class as well abstract because it has one abstract method. Now, if you were to type abstract here as well, the error now goes away. So we've learned two things here. One, if any method is abstract, we have to make the class also abstract. But within an abstract class, you could have methods that are fully defined. It's not a rule that for an abstract class, all the methods should be abstract. You could have methods that are defined if you know what would go in there. Here, for a color and fill color and border color, you know you can set and get the colors, right? So that's basically abstract class. Abstract class is basically an idea, right? The ultimate base class, right, from which child classes can inherit. And that's basically what abstract classes are used for. You define whatever the basic things are in this parent class, and then you can create child classes that inherit from this. For example, you can create a class for rectangle that can inherit from shape, right? But then with rectangle, you would know how to calculate the area. So you could go ahead and implement calculate area in there. Let's go ahead and try to do that, right? Let's go ahead, right click, create a new class. We will name it rectangle. Hit finish. We may need a main method also. So let's create the main method. Hit finish. Here we have created a new class rectangle. Now we know from earlier to inherit a class, we have to type extends shape, right? As soon as you type that, you have another error here. Let's see what it says. It says the type rectangle must implement the inherited abstract method calculate area. So Java knows that you are trying to inherit from an abstract class, so it's going to look for methods that are abstract, and it is going to force you to implement them, because any class that is concrete should have everything defined. Now, by extending shape, rectangle class now knows about calculate area, but calculate area has no definition in shape, so rectangle will have to define it. Now, just to show you, if I were to declare this abstract as well, the error will go away, because when rectangle is made abstract, there is no rule that you have to define all the methods, right? You could have one or more methods undefined. So once you type abstract, the error will go away. But again, this is going to be an abstract class. You're going to have to create another child class that will implement it. So that's how it goes. Now let's go ahead and delete it, which means we have to define that method. Now Eclipse has a shortcut. So if you go here, it says um, add unimplemented methods, right? If you click it, Eclipse will automatically populate an overridden method, calculate area, right? And it's going to put in return 0 because the return type is double. So Eclipse, it's a shorthand form in Eclipse, or a quick way to create all the overridden methods. Because if you are inheriting from shape and shape happens to have, let's say, 10 abstract methods, you don't have to type them up one by one. Just by clicking that add unimplemented methods, Eclipse will automatically populate all of them for you. Right. Now let's go ahead and define rectangle class. So I'm going to bring this main method down, and in here a rectangle would have a length and breadth, right? So you could type private double length, and then you can say private double breadth, right? Now one more thing we are learning here is we can extend from abstract class, but we can go ahead and define new data fields and new methods in rectangle apart from the ones that you're inheriting. So for rectangle, we have length and breadth that is defined. So let's go ahead and create our constructors as well. Our constructor public rectangle, and we're going to get a double length and then double breadth, curly braces. And then if you remember, we got to do this dot length equals length, and then this dot breadth equals breadth. So there you go. Our constructor is ready. Now in calculate area, we have to say um, return. Let's create another variable in no double area equals 2 into length into breadth. So is that the formula? I believe so. So, and then we can return area. Or I think it's length into breadth. Sorry. Yeah, that was terrible. Now you can tell I failed the math class. So in here, now we can call that method. So we can say rectangle rect equals new rectangle of, let's say, phi 2. And then we can say system dot out dot println of rect dot calculate area. Save it. Let's right click, run as Java application. There you go, 10. So we got the area displayed. But the calculation was not the point of this exercise. The point was to extend from abstract class and override method that is abstract in that abstract class, give a body, and then be able to instantiate the child class because this is a concrete class, and then call the method on it. So we talked about instantiation just now. So one more thing to remember is if you were to do shape s equals new shape, you're going to get an error saying cannot instantiate the type shape. And that's because shape is abstract. An abstract class can never be instantiated. Only concrete classes can be. Just to show you, if I go here and just delete these two abstracts, just to show you, and then come back to rectangle, the error will be gone because the class is not abstract any longer. That was just to show you. I'm going to undo. So that is a big thing to remember. Abstract classes can only be used to extend in a child class and be given definition for all the methods. You can never instantiate an abstract class. So that's basically abstract classes. Hope you were able to kind of understand the concept behind it, why we would define abstract classes. I would really like to encourage you to create more child classes for shape, like circle or square. You can define fields that are applicable for those shapes and then try to override the calculate area method, and basically call it and try it out. But that's basically it. I'm going to comment this out and save it. But that's abstract class. Thank you. See you in the next video.